So welcome. This fresh moment. Free from the past. Can we see that? You know, where the regular train of thought is suspended in this moment of presence. The realization that this moment is not a segment, that it is whole and complete. And it's not a story about somebody going from point A to point B. That in this moment of presence, there isn't anybody who's coming and going from point A to point B. There's nobody who's lacking, missing, seeking. Can we see that? There may be a storyline, but the storyline is just a storyline. It doesn't define reality. It doesn't define I. It's a storyline about the shepherd and the sheep. While this moment is completely free from any storyline. This moment of presence that cannot be captured in any image or in any narrative or in any feeling. To get a sense of that presence, presence which we refer to as I, the undeniable reality of awareness, the fact of awareness, which is borderless, isn't it? It's not excluding this or that. We know awareness directly in our experience, this moment and every moment, as a lived reality, not any narrative. We know it as our very being. We know I am. Whatever that is, undeniable amness. Do we need to formulate a narrative about the I am? Do we need to postulate a belief that I am, that I, this amness, refers to a body? On what basis? Isn't it an open field of awareness? Do we need to postulate the belief and hold on to the belief that I, this aware presence, is born with the body and results out of the birth of a certain body-mind? Or can we remain not knowing? Because in this not knowing, we can refer to the body as the body. We can name it. We can describe its changing qualities. But we remain undefined as I. Rather than slapping onto the body, not just a name and certain qualities, but also referring to it as I. There's no basis for that. Can we see through this wrong identification, this false belief that I refers to the body-mind? Look at your direct experience of I before you refer to the archives, before you refer to the files and folders that you've stored in your memory bank. Look at your direct experience of I. Is it not this transparent, borderless awareness? The elephant in the room. rather than believing. To be not knowing. Because this not knowing is not lacking anything. We have lived up to now as I am somebody. It's an old shoe now. We don't need it any longer. So what is available to us is the exploration of living as this not knowing. The wind may blow from the east and next from the west. Same. Notice how habitually thought refers to I as the male, female form, the son and daughter. But these are just images on the screen, aren't they? Thoughts. Like dipping a brush in the paint and splashing it against the screen, against the canvas. Just a form, a passing form, a mind form that says falsely, incorrectly, you are the body, you are this, you are that. To see these thoughts, no matter how repetitive they may be, to be completely insignificant, untrue, unimportant. And the feelings, the feeling that something is happening to me, the feeling of limitation, a bodily sensation that is exacerbated by our rejection, but that is anesthetized by our stillness, remaining as we are, perceiving the sensation as some sort of dance within the body that is of no importance, has no import, no significance whatsoever. Rather than giving feelings a power. To recognize the only power there is, which is beingness, awareness. We can call it a power, or not call it anything, but yet it's not nothing. It's that which is, unborn and does not come and go. That which you are. You can rely on your mind to a certain degree, a certain extent, guide the body-mind, guide the navigation system. But not to rely on body-mind, self-knowing, self-knowledge. To know yourself is of great importance, the utmost importance is self-knowledge. From this self-knowledge, which is grace, harmony, a harmonious, serendipitous events flow. This order in the cosmic realm upon self-knowledge. Don't mistake this, the human realm, to be about anything else. It would be a shame, a real waste. There is no need to struggle with the me feeling. The more you struggle with it, the more stubborn it becomes. It has no power outside of the power you give it. Okay, so if you have any questions, please make sure you unmute your mic. Yes? Any questions?
Hi, Magdi.
Hello, George.
Your meditation was valuable to me, and it reminded me that it's like I have two senses. I have a sense of the sense of self, which I know is false. And the sense of being, I don't seem to be able to access that. Are there two separate senses, or is there just one sense that I'm mislabeling? Maybe this is something you can't talk about. I don't know.
Well, we are habituated to focus on forms, sensations, experiences, feelings, objects, perceptions. So the sense of personal self is a form that we can perceive. We perceive it as maybe a contraction in the belly, or the feeling that I'm in this room, or the feeling that I'm in this body, whatever, whichever way, the sense of what we can sense a sense of self as some sense of incompleteness, or some sort of a general malaise, general sense of even faint discomfort. That's easy to recognize because it's a form, it's an appearance. So when we talk about presence, about beingness, in this case, we are not talking about an objective experience. We're not talking about, oh yeah, I experienced something, last year that was like this and like that, and is that the sense of self? No, that's still an experience, because it's something that you perceive. So how do we go from this habitual tendency that, of course, is very useful and functional, to recognize object, to distinguish object, to label object, to differentiate, forms that we perceive. How do we go from that to, quotes unquote, the experience of beingness? How do we go from an objective experience to a non-objective experience? What is that? What are you talking about, non-objective experience? Like you mean there is an object that is not an object? No. So the mind is just comes to a place where like it's at the edge of a ravine, and it's like going, well, wait a minute, I covered all the ground behind me, okay, and here I am at the edge of this ravine. And what are you saying? Jump? Every pore of my body and my mind is saying, no, I'm not going to jump. You're kidding? If I jump, all the stuff that I know, all the stuff, what about my children, my grandparents, my bank account, what about my plans, my retirement? What if I jump, what about all that I know? In a way, your question has that aspect in it. So, but yet, one answer to your question is jump. And then the mind wants to have a formula about what it means, like, okay, what it means. It means there's nothing you can hold on to, nothing. Nothing you hold on. Your answer is in the jump. There's nothing you can hold on to. And there's not going to be a ground. There's not going to be a ground. There's no ground. Another way of speaking about it is that, the saying that we are in the ocean and we're crying out of thirst. Well, as a metaphor, I mean, we're in a lake. How about in a lake and we're crying of thirst? So the experience, which is non-experience, which is not an experience of being, is your most common experience. It's not possible for you right now to perceive this perception in the absence of being. I understand that this expression, this voice, this hearing, this perception seems to take the entire field, but it doesn't. It's that entire field taking on the form of this image and then shifting and changing and shifting and changing. Now it's like this, then it's like that, then it's none of it. What is it to be? To be. What is it to be? Another way of saying it, what is it to be in the absence of objects, in the absence of thoughts, perceptions, sensations? What is it to be? Well, you can only get the answer to that question by going to being. And where do you go to being? Where do you go? Where do I go? Well, it's very simple. Are you not? Are you not? Yes, I am. Different question. I didn't say, are you George? Or are you 40 years old? Are you a father? Do you live in California? I said, are you? Aren't you? Or am I? That's a different question from, am I perceiving? Am I sensing? Am I remembering? Am I feeling? So where do you go for the experience of being is, are you not? Ask yourself, are you not? Yes, I am. Where did you come from with that answer? Where did you come from with that answer? Don't tell me that you thought about it and you put 2 and 2 together. No, before that, it preceded 2 and 2 together, putting 2 and 2 together. It was like that, immediate. Yes, I am. the answer to your question is within you, is within your own being, because you are the answer. Not you, George. I don't mean the body, George, is the answer, or the way you're feeling is the answer. I mean, you, the being, which you know as I am or as I, is the answer to your question. It's like a good metaphor is about images on the screen. I mean, we're looking at the images, we're actually looking at the screen, but we're not seeing the screen. Of course we are seeing the screen. That's all we're looking at is the screen. That's all we're perceiving is the screen. But from the perspective of the mind, no, I'm perceiving a lion running after an antelope, you see. But how could you perceive a lion running after an antelope in the absence of a screen? So that to be looking for that non-experience via the mind, because the mind is objective. It deals in forms, it deals in thoughts, memories, perceptions, sensations, creative thinking, conceptual, it operates in the realm of in objects. It's very good for in that realm. You can't use the wrong tool. You cannot use a square key to open a round keyhole. You need the round keyhole. The round key, excuse me. So in your question, there is the assumption, how can I, the mind, know consciousness? The answer is you can't. But you, consciousness, can know consciousness via the simple fact of that you are conscious. Not the body is conscious. The body is sentient. Yes, I mean, a living body is sentient. A dead body is not sentient. But the fact that you are conscious, that you're aware, it's a different thing from being sentient. So to beware of confusing the mind with consciousness. It's like we're awake. And we wonder like, oh, what is it like to be awake? You're awake. You go, oh, yeah, I'm awake. Well, I'm talking in the phenomenal realm, that you wake up, from sleep and you're going to work or whatever you're doing. And you're not even aware that you're awake at the body-mind level. I'm just using a metaphor. Of course, you're awake, but you're not aware that you're awake. Like you're breathing, you're not aware you're breathing. Beingness is awareness. Awareness, beingness. I like this, Satchitananda, Satchit. They're the same, there's two sides of the same coin, a coin of zero thickness. Being, awareness, presence, consciousness. And isn't it your experience that you are present and conscious?
It's certainly my experience that I'm present and conscious. And I guess I'm still looking for the round key, because it seems, I don't want to argue for this, but it seems that I know I'm present. I know I'm present in consciousness, I'm present and conscious because I can perceive. And I know you're saying that's backwards.
Well, prove it.
I can't prove it.
Okay, well, then don't hold on to it. If you can't prove it to yourself, if you can't prove it, then it's a belief that hasn't, it's a theory, it's a model.
Yes, exactly. It's a
And
theory.
it's a model that, okay, I mean, how long are you going to hold on to this model without having a proof? I mean, wait a minute.
I'm going to hold on to this model until I discover an alternative.
Let me ask a different question. Are you happy with this model?
No.
Okay, so then the question is, why do you want to hold on to this unhappy model if there is no proof for it?
Because I can't find another model.
There is another model. There's another model, which is, I don't know.
Okay, that's something I can, thank you. That's something I can clearly accept. If you're saying to me, just accept the fact right now that you don't know, I'm with you. I can do that.
Yes, I am conscious, I am aware, but I don't know that it is because of the body or not. It could be 50-50. Yeah, but because I don't know, because I don't have a 51% on one side or on the other side, or 50.01% on one side and on the other. My only option, which is my intelligent option, is I don't know. Except if you're really happy with that model. If you're really happy with that model, then your response is, you know what? I don't need a proof. I'm happy. Leave me alone, and I'll salute you, because there is no way I'm going to poo-poo on your happiness. There is no way.
If that were the case, I wouldn't be here.
Right. So given that we have a model that we have no evidence one way or the other, we have an option of, I don't know. So I'm open. I don't know.
Okay.
I know I am. That's indisputable. I know I'm aware. That's indisputable. Period. Right. Period for now. Does it depend on the body? Does it depend on the lion? Does it depend on my mother? Does it depend on my brain? Does it depend on the astral alignment in the cosmos? I don't know.
Don't know. Okay. Thank you. I'm willing to accept that as a temporary model, but I really do want to know. But thank you. Okay.
Okay, Charles.
No, really. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Any questions? So we stay with that which we know. We know that I am, and we know that I am aware. But we also know that I perceive. And we know that that which we perceive is not separate, is not apart from that which perceives. In other words, there is no distance between the perceived and the perceiving. So we know that we know experientially, not theoretically, not like. And again, we have to come to that conclusion for sure within ourselves. Not like we read it somewhere, we adapt, we say, "Oh, that sounds good. I'm going to go for that." No, check it out. Check out right now. You perceive this perception. What is the distance between the perception and the perceiving, the reality of perceiving? You will find that they're at zero distance. Well, check it out. Anyways, jumping. You will find that it's a zero distance. That you know. In other words, the I, which perceives, which experiences, the I, which is, and that which is perceived, which we classify as, world, body, mind, objects, sensations, and thoughts. The distance between that which perceives and that which is perceived is zero. That's very interesting information. Like, what? Like zero distance. That's, that's all. Just zero distance. Interesting. So therefore, I am experiencing or I'm perceiving myself. Myself meaning, like, I'm not perceiving something out there, an external reality. I'm not perceiving external reality. But nor am I denying the reality of that which I perceive. I'm not denying the reality of the world, of the body, of the mind. I don't know what they are. They are what they are. We call them the world, perception, sensation, thoughts. Fine. But what I do know is that consciousness is real. The I am, and I am aware, is absolute. It's real. That's whenever I turn my attention to it, it's there. Am I aware? Yes. Am I aware? Yes. Is the oak tree here? Yes, here it is. Is the oak tree here? Oh, shoot. No, I'm sorry. They cut it yesterday. They turned it into chairs and tables. Oops. Okay. That we know. So we know that the reality of consciousness is real. It's absolute. That's not a theoretical. So we have to come to clarity that yes, I do know that awareness, consciousness is real. And because I'm not denying my experience, I'm not denying the world, the body, and the mind, they are real as well. But given there is one reality, and given that there is zero distance between that which perceives and the perceived, then the reality of the world, body, mind is nothing else but that one reality, the reality of consciousness. That's why sometimes I say, playfully, that consciousness is dancing, is taking on the form of the world, body, mind. That consciousness is perceiving itself, it creates its perception, it perceives its perception, and its perception dissolves where? Back into itself, the only reality there is. Like currents within the ocean. There's an ocean without currents, and then suddenly there is a current within the ocean, and then the current, whatever it is, it dissolves in the ocean. These are metaphors. You have to use those metaphors to see, to understand what we are talking about. So use all the tools in your toolbox. If that wrench doesn't work, try the adjustable wrench, The plumber's wrench, big man. Sometimes use the hammer, tap it in the right place, When I was a kid, I was fascinated by, my parents had bought me these pistols, these toy pistols, like cowboy pistols. I loved the cowboys and the Indians. And so I was fascinated by, I love my pistols, but one of the pistols, I wanted to know how it functions. So I took it all apart. Oh my God. I cried later because I couldn't put it back together. But I still had the other pistol. In this case, you can take it apart, don't worry about putting it back together. There's a magic in the air. Any questions? Hello, Lauren.
Magdi.
Hey, Lauren.
I just wanted to know if you could maybe say something about sort of our role in the involvement in the world. You know, I used to get really upset about a lot of the things in the world, and I'm a lot happier now. And the world is the same, you know, whether, but I guess sometimes I feel like I see other people studying Advaita and maybe having more of like a distance, you know, a detachment from the world. And you know, I'm a patient person, but you know, like I love my dog and I worry about losing my dog, and that there is still, you know, the worldly sadness, and I get very sad about you know, just, you know, kind of the care of the earth and things like that. So I just wanted to know if you had any you know, comments about that, or
Yes, yes. Yes. So in an absolute sense, it really doesn't matter what's happening in the world, what's happening in the body. It's of no consequence. Because there's nothing separate. Just a rearranging of the pieces. You know, volcanic eruption here, beautiful orange grove there, people polluting the ocean here, people working on purifying or planting an organic garden there. From the global perspective, it doesn't matter. And this is misunderstood, you know, in non-duality, is misunderstood in the incomplete understanding in Advaita, the incomplete understanding in Advaita is that, oh, well, it doesn't matter, period. No, that's not true. I said from the absolute perspective, it doesn't matter. But there is other perspectives. The relative perspective matters a lot. It doesn't matter because the world needs our help. It matters because this is our laboratory, our laboratory. This is what we have been given very specifically. Every person has been given a very specific situation, very specific conditions that keep changing, very specific parents, very specific philosophy, very specific culture. Some people are born in a fundamentalist environment. Other people are born in a very hippie, let's dance and smoke dope. And it's very specific for every one of us. We didn't choose. We didn't choose. I didn't choose to be born in Lebanon and to have a Muslim father, a Christian mother, God knows whatever it was. Nor did you choose. At that level, at the relative level. And yet we are given a very specific situation that is our experience, that affects us, that we relate with, that we feel, oh my God, this person is being abusive, but this person is so sweet, so beautiful. I love that. What is it about this person I really love? Oh, wow, look at these people that are dumping their trash in the street. You see that, oh, it doesn't feel good. It's not like because somebody told you it doesn't feel good. You just feel it, you sense it. You're given a very specific situation, not so that you fix the situation, so that you get to know yourself. It's all about self-knowledge. To recognize what living out of disregard to the whole, to be a separate self, how living as a separate self, what it looks like, and what living out of intelligence, out of love, out of the honoring the whole, what that also feels and look like. We recognize that via our senses, we perceive it, and also we feel it, we sense it within ourselves. In relationship, so many of us had all sorts of relationship where it was impossible to stay in the relationship after a while. And also we've known relationships where it was like, oh, so sweet, so sweet. And we also have experienced our own behavior. Some behavior that was coming from the sense of separation, of isolation, out of emotions, out of fear, out of envy, out of materialistic desires. We've lived through that, we've experienced that, and that's very specific. Very specific. So you could say that in the absolute nothing matters. And in our specific experiences, it matters so much. It matters so much. And we can't really live for too long under the belief that it doesn't matter. Because if we adopt the absolute perspective without having crystallized it in our specific, in our life, life is going to continuously be punching at us. Oh, it doesn't matter? Okay. Oh, that doesn't matter. Oh, that doesn't matter. It matters a little bit, That's how it goes, you see. So the neo-Advaitic statements that, oh, what is, and all there is, and there's only isness, nothing matters, you don't exist, I don't exist, nothing exists. That's not the complete understanding. There is some understanding in that, but it's lacking. It's like, okay, you put in 3 tires or 2 tires on the car, okay, you can't go anywhere. You can't go anywhere. You need to have the entire vehicle with all its tires, let's say. So in our very particular life, because we don't live, as consciousness, we live as, here I am, here you are, you're my neighbor, I like you, I don't like that neighbor, I like your dog better than the neighbor's, whatever, it's very specific. So in our life, that's what we're living. We're living this particular relationship, very specific. The question is, how do we live it? Well, we all know. We live it preserving me. Okay, well, I'll be friendly and so on, as long as number one is taken care of. This is like, you know, so there is a perspective of the individual model, the individual living as an individual. And we suffer, we create suffering. And hopefully, soon enough, quickly enough, we realize, well, wait a minute, wait, no. Okay, fine, I get it, you know, all right, my parents were like that, they said that's the way to be, but they lived a miserable life. They lived a miserable life. So I'm not going to continue in that model. I'm going to explore. I'm going to explore what's going on here. Why am I living here with this me worried and concerned, thinking about tomorrow? My God, what's going to happen? What if she does that? What if he does this? Why did he do this? I did that. You know, please give me a break, right? So sooner or later we say, okay, look, let me take another look. I'll take another look.
Is there room for sort of compassion for the separate self? Although, I mean, for the non-existent separate self, I sometimes, you know, just changing over time. And of course, I see my own patterns much more clearly, but also just interacting with friends, you know, I'm not going to show. There is a difference in how I relate to them, but at the same time, you know, I mean, they have medical problems or crazy, you know, relationship problems, and you know, I do. There's compassion there, and I feel like, you know, that's natural. My answer isn't just like, well, your separate self doesn't exist.
You know, compassion is an aspect of love, meaning it's the whole. So COM refers to the whole. Compassion is a passion that is sort of shared. So compassion, love, and sweetness, sense of sorrow, there are aspects of consciousness. They're how consciousness sort of, we live it, we feel it, we experience it. But it's never compassion towards a separate self. It's just compassion. It's compassion. Compassion is an energetic field in the cosmos, and it's channeled through us. So it's important for us not to block it. And the way we block it is say, "Oh, him, her, look what she did. No, she deserves it. She deserves it." They say. That's how we block the universal flow of compassion. So there is an understanding that, wait a minute, nobody's guilty. We don't choose. We don't choose our thoughts. And sometimes there is clarity. There is thoughts that come, and there is a thought that sheds light. There's a thought that sheds light, says, okay, wait a minute, the thought comes. It's just a thought that arises, says, Magdi, you know, it's 9 p.m. and you're going to eat a pint of ice cream. You know, that thought it sheds light on a behavior that may be dysfunctional. So, but I didn't choose that thought. That thought arise. It may not arise. And if it didn't arise, then I'll eat that pint of ice cream and I will feel really awful. And I may, because I'm feeling awful and I don't want to feel awful, I may blame my dog. I'm not being silly. So the understanding that there is no guilty person, there is no guilty separate self. It's a cosmic realm. And compassion is not blocked when we have that understanding. But when our understanding is blocked because I believe, oh, you're good, he's bad. You were good yesterday. Today, you're being so bad. When I'm in that projecting a person, projecting a personal doer, projecting a personal self, I'm blocking the flow of compassion, the flow of love, the flow of intelligence, the flow of generosity, the flow of fairness. I'm blocking it. So compassion is never compassion towards a separate self. Compassion is. It's like love is. It's part of what we are. We are made out of love and compassion and freedom and joy and happiness, our true nature, which is blocked or veiled, let's say veiled, by the belief that I am this person, I am this particular body, mind, I'm me, and you're another. No, I am you. I am exactly like you. Exactly, absolutely. I'm talking about 1,000% like you. I am you. Take a look. You realize, oh yeah, I am this beingness. It's not like, oh, here I am, Magdi, and with my stories and my history. And no, here I am as I, and here you are as I. Yeah, right? I mean, how many eyes are there? I mean, this one eye. You see, I mean, so you get a sense of that, like, and this sense of that is valuable because it refers to the true I. So it's important for us to sort of remember that and to keep realizing that in this moment, Magdi isn't talking with Lauren and Lauren listening to Magdi, or Lauren talking with Magdi. No, it's the same I. To go to that level, we have to go to that level of that before the mind. I'm not anti or anti. I'm not anti-mind. I'm all for mind. I recognize that you are, a female. You're Lauren and Magdi, and I recognize that. But I'm talking about, not denying that, but going to the core of what we are, to the directness of our experience, before the mind. Before the mind doesn't mean the mind is a bad thing. It just means I'm talking about our direct experience in this moment. Our direct experience in this moment is love, absolutely love. Because there isn't a me and you right now in this conversation. It's just love. When there is no me and no you, it's love. That's what we call love. Love is oneness. There isn't a me and a you. You see, to sort of get a sense of that in our life, to sort of explore that, to be open to that, to be welcoming to that. And it's not the story, is it? It's not a story. The story is that, oh, I am here and you are you, and you are there. It's a story. What is not a story is I am. I is. That's not a story. Whatever that I is, whatever it is, not knowing what it is. Perfect. I is. Something rather than nothing is. What we refer to as I am. So yeah, compassion is a beautiful thing. Love is a beautiful thing. Happiness is a beautiful thing. Laughter is a beautiful thing. Joy, beautiful. It's just so beautiful. Without conditions, right? I mean, heck, why wait?
Is there a way to show compassion, for friends who are, do identify as a separate self. And, you know, without it, I sometimes have trouble, you know, I have compassion for the suffering. And I mean, sometimes it's my own suffering, but, you know, sometimes it's my friends, but I see the ignorance. And it's kind of like, I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to agree with everything they say, because kind of on one level, I see more how, you know, they're buying, you know, they're just really identifying it. But at the same time, they're my friends, they're people I love.
Yeah, yeah. You know, a few things. So I don't give validity to the sense of separation. In other words, you have your story. I mean, not you, I'm talking, you know, somebody has their story about me. Oh my God, my life, my blah, 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 blah. I'm listening, you know, chewing my ear, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not buying any of it.
Right.
Not because I don't care about them or I have no compassion. I don't buy any of it because I know it's false. I know it's a story about what they imagine themselves to be. Any story that we have about ourselves is just a story. It's pure mind, pure imagination. Oh, and then they did this to me, and my dad and my grandfather did this to me, blah, blah, and I can't recover from it, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't. So you're listening, but you're not buying it. So at the same time, you're meeting people where they are, where they're at. So you can't force people to meet you where you're at.
Right.
So you are where people are at, what they're sharing with you. So you listen, you know, yes, I understand. It was very painful. I understand. Yeah. I remember this pain. Yes. Oh, they did this and that to me. I get you. It's really painful. I get you. Because that's where they're at, you know, and maybe they just need to unload. Say, I get it. I'm not buying it. So the key thing is you're not buying it. But in the same time, you're not like denying it. You're not saying, oh, it's just nothing really happened. You know, no, that was just an illusion. No, it's different. It's like, yes, you understand all of that, but you also understand that here we are, a fresh moment of being, of consciousness, of presence, of awareness, which is in fact completely free from the past. In fact, it is completely free from the past. But this does not mean that your friend is willing to let go of the past. No. They're into the past, they're living that, they're spinning that. And we understand, okay, that's, you know, so there is that spin. Sometimes there may be an opening. Which, and then you say, well, how are you doing now? How are you doing now? How are you doing? Okay, fine. I got it. You know, you had your shit, I had my shit. How are you doing now? How are you? So happy to see you. So good to see you. I'm just happy to see you. Yeah, happy to see you. In that moment, you're not like feeling compassion or anything for them. You're just sort of, you're there. You want to enjoy their freaking company in this moment. You know, you say, hey, how are you doing? And in that moment, they're free from the past. They may pick it up again in 3 minutes or 2 minutes or 60 seconds. But for this moment, here they are, you know. So at the same time, you know, it could be, you may find that some time in your life where you are in a certain place where it's not possible for you to maintain certain relationships. It's just somehow you would love to, you still have the love for them or for a particular friend, but you'd rather be alone, you'd rather go for a walk, or you'd rather, listen to some music or read a book, whatever, than hanging out with them. So to also allow that, let's allow that. It's fine. It's not, friendship is still there, it's still there. It's just, you're not available right now for that. That doesn't mean a lack of compassion. No. And doesn't mean we're judging each other. No, it's just you're honoring, something within you that's saying, oh, I think I want to be, more in a different place now, more quiet, more whatever. Now, one more thing I wanted to share with you, Lauren, is that we're all similar in that we're all subject to being wrapped up in feelings and images about our body, images about our past, certain feelings about the world, etc. We have that sensitivity, and sometimes it works against our inner peace. So it's not that there are people who are less ignorant than others and others that are more ignorant. It's not like that. It's more like that in our human experience, there is that tendency to be influenced by the senses, by the world, and by the mind. It's not about any particular individual. We all, sort of have that propensity to get wrapped up into the world or into our feelings or into our images about ourselves or others, right? But we also have the capacity to realize our true nature, to realize that the understanding about consciousness. And that's so precious, It doesn't make anybody better than anybody else, no. Because that quality of understanding is available across the entire realm. It's just that sometimes we go in that direction, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're happy in our unhappiness, and sometimes we are unhappy in our unhappiness. And sometimes we go back and forth.
Yeah. A lot of back and forth.
Yeah. I think with your friends, you don't know how you are how you feel in this moment. You of course, you're interested in truth, you're interested in the qualities, the divine qualities. So of course, you like to bring those in your life, in your relationships with yourself, with your friends, with the world, as best you can, which includes sometimes going in a different direction. We don't know.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question, Lauren. Any questions?
Hello, Magdi.
Hello, Mina.
I have not a question, but what you spoke with Lauren was very beautiful. And it's exactly what in the moment I realize more and more that as more when I walk through this world, which is only the self, I see only that, and I realize that in each moment exactly that arises what has to happen and what has to be said. I don't know, a girlfriend tells me about her struggle with her sister, and I see this, what you say, I see that it is like a dream, but then the words come exactly for this situation and for her, and I have a compassion, but and it's very beautiful. I feel more and more that I can let go of all, that I don't have to be a container of something known, but that in each moment in the situation gives me the right tool to make it happen.
Beautiful.
And this is very beautiful, very, very, I'm very thankful. And when you speak like that, it is a big yes inside me.
Yeah, I'm feeling the big yes right now in listening to you. So it's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your support and for these beautiful words. Thank you.
I'm very fortunate to be with all of us here. It's very beautiful. Thank you, Mina.
Thank you.
Okay, well, on these beautiful words, thank you all, Frank and Lauren, Mina, Lisa.
Thank you.
Holger. Hola, Gloriana.
Hola, Magdi. Thank you very much.
Hello, Keith. Nice to see you. Marga and Shiva. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Magdi.
Wow.